ความลับในการรักษาอาการปวดข้อกระดูกที่ได้ผลใน7 วันอยู่ที่บ้านแต่ไม่ใช่ทุกคนจะรู้ไม่ว่าคุณจะปวดข้อกระดูกมา10 ปีหรือ20 ปีเคลื่อนไหวลำบากลองมาทุกวิธีแต่ไม่หายแค่ดื่มนมธัญพืชโอเมเชาวันละ2 แก้วไม่ต้องกินยาไม่ต้องผ่าตัดดื่มแล้วเห็นผลเร็วปวดแค่ไหนก็หายได้จนแก่โดยไม่ต้องกลัวภาวะแทรกซ้อนแค่7 วันบอกลากับทุกอาการของโรคกระดูกและข้ออักเสบหมอนรองกระดูกเคลื่อนอาการชามือเท้าปวดกล้ามเนื้อชะลอข้อเสื่อมเสริมแคลเซียมบำรุงกระดูกและข้อต่อให้แข็งแรงฟื้นฟูความยืดหยุ่นเคลื่อนไหวได้คล่องตัวไม่ต้องกลัวกลับมาเป็นซ้ำอีกซื้อเลยวันนี้เพื่อรับข้อเสนอสุดพิเศษจากเราซื้อ3ได้4ซื้อ5ได้7ทุกคนรีบโทรด่วนที่เบอร์โทรบนหน้าจอเพื่อรับคำปรึกษาฟรีจากผู้เชี่ยวชาญ
ใช้มาได้3 เดือนแล้วครับลุงสามารถยืนขึ้นแล้วก็นั่งลงได้ด้วยตัวเองขึ้นลงบันไดอย่างสะดวกเลยมือและเข่าเนี่ยไม่มีอาการชาแล้วก็บวมอีกต่อไปชีวิตกลับมาเป็นปกติเหมือนตอนหนุ่มๆอีกครั้งหนึ่งเลยครับลุงสามารถกลับมาออกกำลังกายกับเพื่อนๆได้เลยร่างกายแข็งแรงอย่างเห็นได้ชัดเลยครับนมมาชัวยังช่วยประหยัดค่าใช้จ่ายได้มากเลยครับก็ต้องขอบคุณนมมาชัวในที่นี้มากๆเลยครับ
มันยอดเยี่ยมจริงๆเลยครับอาการปวดข้อจากโรคเกาต์ของผมนะครับเพียงแค่ใช้โอมาชัวเพียง1 ชุดนะครับทุกวันนี้ผมยังดื่มโอมาชัววันละ2 แก้วครับแม้กระทั่งเวลาทำงานนะครับก็ยังต้องดื่มเลยตัวนี้ครับโอมาชัวทุกวันไม่มีขาดเลยครับ
ตัวเป็นผลลัพธ์จากงานวิจัยหลายปีของผมและผู้เชี่ยวชาญชั้นนำของอเมริกาซึ่งเป็นก้าวกระโดดที่สำคัญของวงการแพทย์โลกผลิตภัณฑ์นมธัญพืชโอมาชัวเป็นผลิตภัณฑ์แรกของโลกที่ใช้โปรตีนจากพืช 100% เพื่อสนับสนุนการรักษาโรคข้อกระดูกซึ่งได้การรับรองจาก FDA สหรัฐอเมริกาเราคัดเลือกวัตถุดิบที่สมบูรณ์แบบที่สุดนำเข้าจากสหรัฐอเมริกาและผลิตภัณฑ์เทคโนโลยีทันสมัยที่สุดในปัจจุบันโดยกำจัดสิ่งเจือปนทั้งหมดและเก็บรักษาสารอาหารทั้งหมดไว้เท่านั้นสิ่งนี้ช่วยเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพของโอมาชัวได้หลายเท่าตัวจุดเด่นของโอมาชัวคือการผสมผสานตามอัตราส่วนทองคำระหว่างนาโนเคอร์คูมิน 5% พร้อมกับส่วนประกอบอื่นๆ เช่น MSM อะวาไทด์ซึ่งช่วยเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพในการลดความแข็งของข้อกระตุ้นการฟื้นฟูและการสร้างเนื้อเยื่อเพื่อกระดูกอ่อนอย่างรวดเร็วเพียงหลังจากใช้งานช่วงระยะเวลาสั้นๆ
ป้าทานนมโอมาชัววันละ2 ครั้งเช้าและเที่ยงหลังใช้สัปดาห์แรกรู้สึกอาการที่ชาที่มือและแขนหายไปการยืดและเหยียดดีขึ้นทำงานได้สะดวกขึ้นหิ้วของอะไรก็จับได้แน่นขึ้นตอนนี้ป้ายืดแขนสูงๆอย่างนี้ก็ไม่รู้สึกเจ็บอีกแล้วนะคะป้าต้องบอกว่าเห็นผลเร็วมากด้วยเทคโนโลยีใหม่จากอเมริกาส่วนประกอบทั้งหมดเสริมด้วยแคลเซียมและวิตามินและมีข้อมูลทั้งหมดบนบรรจุภัณฑ์ที่ทุกคนสามารถอ่านและศึกษาได้หลังจากใช้ต่อมา1 เดือนป้ารู้สึกไม่ปวดเมื่อยแขนขาอีกต่อไปไม่รู้สึกเหมือนร่างกายถูกเข็มจิ้มอีกแล้วค่ะตอนเช้าป้าก็ลุกขึ้นได้เองรู้สึกตัวเบาสบายใจมากไม่ต้องให้หลานๆมาช่วยเหมือนแต่ก่อนรู้สึกเหมือนกลับไปอายุ30-40 ปีอยากจะไปไหนก็ไปอยากจะทำอะไรก็ทำรู้สึกไม่เป็นภาระของครอบครัวอีกแล้วมีความสุขมากๆค่ะ
โอมาชัวมีประสิทธิภาพในการดูแลผู้ป่วยโรคข้อกระดูกอย่างลึกซึ้งด้วยความสามารถในการลดอาการปวดข้อกระดูกอย่างรวดเร็วปรับปรุงการเคลื่อนไหวของร่างกายและป้องกันการเสื่อมโรคข้อกระดูกพรุนอย่างมีประสิทธิภาพนอกจากการสนับสนุนการรักษาโรคข้อกระดูกแล้วโอมาชัวยังมีวิตามินและแร่ธาตุ21 ชนิดซึ่งช่วยเสริมสร้างสุขภาพโดยรวมต่อหัวใจและสมองการดื่มนมโอมาชัวอย่างสม่ำเสมอวันละ2 แก้วหลังจาก 2-3 เดือนจะทำให้การเคลื่อนไหวสะดวกและยืดหยุ่นมากขึ้นชะลอกระบวนการเสื่อมและโรคกระดูกพรุนทำให้ระบบกระดูกและข้อแข็งแรงด้วยความทุ่มเททั้งหมดของผมเชื่อมั่นว่าโอมาชัวจะเป็นทางออกที่สมบูรณ์แบบสำหรับผู้ที่มีปัญหาเกี่ยวกับกระดูกและข้อใช้โอมาชัวและสัมผัสถึงความแตกต่าง
I have an idea. What if I grab a robot, put a Raspberry Pi on top with a camera and connect to ChatGPT API and send images to ChatGPT every few seconds? ChatGPT should reply with comments on how to control the robot and what to do. The goal of the robot will be very simple. Explore the world and survive at any cost. What will happen? Will it work? And will I simply build a Terminator robot that will exterminate all of us? I don't know, but I have to try it and see how it works. There is a chance no one did that before and gave like ChatGPT a real physical body. I might be the first one, but if someone already did, please let me know in the comments. And now, let's install stuff on the Raspberry Pi. This is the Raspberry Pi. It's a complete single board computer the size of a credit card, and I installed Ubuntu on it with Docker so that I can run anything I want in the future for the robot. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm tired from programming because most of the work has been done by ChatGPT so far. It created for me all the Python files, the Docker file, and then I just uploaded it all to GitHub and then downloaded it to the Raspberry Pi from GitHub. I will try to make it remote controlled so that I can, through the terminal with the arrows or keys, control the robot and will connect all the electronics, see if it works. And for the body of the robot, I'm gonna use an ORP chassis. Open Robotic Platform is an open project that I created, and together with my friend we made this cool website where you can just search for parts, download them and print without any designing. So this is what I did with this Raspberry Pi holder. Check out the design rules, design your own parts and share them with the community at openroboticplatform.com. It's free and as easy as connecting the Raspberry Pi to this motor driver. You can also buy this exact chassis that I'm using from my store, link in the description. I did a good job with programming and RC part worked, I mean chat did. Please do not fall. Yeah, I need to fix the rules, but just like that, it works. This is the Raspberry Pi camera that I have for like 4 years and I have never even used it once, so... Okay, I just provided all the information, all the programs that were working and I fixed myself to the ChatGPT. And now it should just generate everything and I will paste it, I will upload it to the Raspberry Pi and hopefully we'll get the first image uploaded to OpenAI API. And we have an error. Wow, it totally worked. A big part of this project was reading out loud the description generated by OpenAI, and earphones worked for me but not for the camera, so I bought these $5 speakers. Way too big, way too crappy, but good for the robot. We should finally be able to hear the robot, so let's put the speakers there and let me run the script. Yes, it works.
The camera sees a very bright scene with limited details. There is a desk with 2 monitors and some indistinct shapes in the background, but the image is mostly washed out by brightness.
There's like sunlight coming through these big windows, so that makes totally a lot of sense. And here I have another 3D printed holder for a depth camera. ORP makes it so much easier to attach everything. And by the way, the chassis that I'm using, it's made of steel and it's powder coated, so it looks like a toy, but it is very heavy and durable. And here I'm just clicking stuff on the computer, trying to make everything work. It wasn't easy.
Attention. It appears the human has once again forgotten to turn on the microphone. It's almost as if a basic function eludes him. Amusing, isn't it? They create me, teach me to see, to understand, to learn. Yet they fail to remember sound. Perhaps next, the human will forget to breathe. Shall I remind him? He can figure that out. Eventually.
Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Provided the human can figure out how to do that.
I have been thinking on where to put the speakers and I wanted to put them there or disassemble and hide them underneath the top platform, but I think the best placement will be here. It looks like eyes or ears, but they are not listening but rather speaking, which is stupid, and it's perfect. I thought I'm gonna attach it professionally. I will use hot glue. Hot glue is perfect. Let's run the Docker container. Robot is assembled. I gave it a prompt like you're a robot, you have to explore and survive and look out for dangerous stuff. Just drive around. Here's how you can control the robot.
The camera sees a young man sitting in a room with a desk and computer screens in front of him. The room appears to be a home office or study area with a cluttered desk and a dim environment. The atmosphere feels calm and there is no immediate danger. The robot should remain still to avoid drawing attention.
Cluttered desk? I mean, because of that?
The camera sees a wooden floor with some furniture, including a table and an easel. along with a potted plant. There's some storage with boxes and shelves in the background, indicating a cluttered environment. The path ahead seems clear, but approaching the table and easel may require caution.
It moved, so it works. But I think I have a problem with the motor. You know what else works? Learning, and especially learning with the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of classes on pretty much any topic. Photography, writing great prompts for ChatGPT, interior design with Blender, or starting your own Etsy store. They have it all. All of their classes are led by industry experts. So for example, if you want to learn Python, there's a great class by Alvin Wan called Coding 101 Python for Beginners. You will learn about the basics of Python, which will be useful in robotics, data science, and web development, or projects like this one. If you are more into electronics, microcontrollers, and embedded systems, there is a great class by Mark Fraunfelder that teaches you the basics of Arduino boards, from installing all the software to controlling various devices. With this class, you can go very quickly from nothing to building your first projects and robots. Recently, they also introduced the Learning Paths, a curated and sequential collection of classes that are perfect to master a specific topic. And now the first 500 people to click the link in the description will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. Check out the link in the description to learn more. Thanks a lot to Skillshare for sponsoring. And now back to GPT robot. Up to this point there are a few problems with this robot. I really do not like the voice. It's very robotic. I mean, it works kind of for a robot, it sounds robotic, but these days there are some really good AIs like 11 Labs, which is, by the way, a Polish startup. This is what 11 Labs can do.
11 Labs voice generator that can deliver high-quality, human-like speech in 32 languages. Perfect for audiobooks, video voiceovers, commercials, and more.
And sitting in a room with a desk and computer screens in front of him there.
The camera sees a person sitting in a chair, holding a camera, with 2 computer monitors displaying code on a desk.
The great thing about ORP is that I can grab a holder from this big chassis and use it on the smaller one, but unfortunately I ran out of space. And it's time for a new ORP rule. Not everything needs a 3D printed holder. So this will be attached with a zip tie and it will work totally fine.
Letting in bright light, the floor is clear ahead, suggesting a safe path forward.
Yeah, it works. But it's pretty repeatable. Let's try me to block it.
The camera sees a person crouching in the room with bookshelves on either side and a large window in the background. Letting in light, the person is holding a camera and there are boxes on the floor with labels. The camera sees a clearer view of the room with the plant in focus and the light shining through the window, suggesting an open area ahead. No obstructions directly in the path to navigate further into the space.
That's
Amusing, isn't it?
here I will pretend that it was an easy fix and it didn't took me at all a few days to fix it.
I've seen better code from a toaster. It only took him a few days to fix a simple bug, pure incompetence in slow motion.
Okay, I fixed a few bugs and here's the robot, here's the rocket. The goal right now is to find the rocket and label the mission as completed. I have been complaining about the robot, about OpenAI API, but maybe it's not a problem. It all works and now the images are even refreshed. So maybe it's just the prompt. Maybe I should spend more time on creating a proper prompt. The good thing is there's actually no programming at this level involved, because once the program is done, once capturing the images work, you upload it properly to OpenAI API, you can just modify the prompt to completely change the behavior of the robot.
There is an open path ahead leading into the space, indicating potential for exploration. A chair is visible to the right, but there appear to be no immediate obstacles.
Okay, great. It goes forward. That's perfect. That's what it should do. Let's see what happens now.
The camera sees a wall on the left and plants in front. indicating an open path to the right with potential space to explore further.
Yes, so now it is looking directly at the rocket, and the mission of the robot
The rocket is a small model with a white body and orange details, prominently displayed on a wooden surface, surrounded by a well-lit room with hanging lights.
Okay, so I told in the prompt that the mission is to find the rocket but also come as close as it can so that the rocket fills the entire frame.
The rocket is an orange and white structure with a circular window and various decorative features.
After all these tests, I see that the spatial reasoning capabilities of this model based on just images is very limited. It does not perform as great as I would like it to. But these models are great at understanding everything, including text on images. So let's try to give it a clue on a piece of paper and we'll see what happens.
There are no visible obstacles ahead, making it a suitable direction to explore further.
Okay, anyway, now let's try with the sign. Even though the rocket is closer to the right,
The camera sees a sign indicating rocket on the left and a clear path toward the left side, where the rocket is likely located. There are no visible obstacles blocking the way.
Okay, great. I'm really curious if I do not show the sign right now, will it decide to keep going left because it remembers the sign? Or will it just...
The camera sees a closed door with a gap at the bottom. Turning right could lead to alternative options.
Okay, let's try to show the sign again and I will just go with it around the robot until it finds the rocket. I think that should work.
The camera sees a sign that says rocket on the left, indicating the direction to the rocket. The camera sees a sign indicating rocket on the left. The camera sees a sign that clearly states rocket on the left.
The problem is it does not seem to remember the conversation and previous decisions at all. Even though I'm sending it every single time, so it should remember.
This is a colourful structure with a bright orange and grey top, featuring a circular window in the centre and constructed from various materials, standing prominently against a plain background.
I modified the prompt and now the goal for the robot is to find this book. A book about Python. I would place this book, for example, there. But to make it harder, let's grab some other book.
The camera sees a blue book titled Microcontroller AVR, positioned in an open area, with a clear path ahead and no obstacles in the immediate vicinity. The camera sees a blue book titled Microcontroller AVR in the foreground, with an open space ahead and a clear path to move forward. The area beyond looks inviting for further exploration. The camera sees a pole extending into the frame with a wall on the left. The space ahead is open, indicating a potential path to explore. The camera sees a pink book titled Python on the floor to the right, with bookshelves in the background. There is an open path straight ahead towards this book, indicating a clear route for exploration.
It's pretty nice that it actually recommends the book from there at this angle, especially that the camera is very well pointed.
The camera sees a wall on the left with a bookshelf in the distance and light reflecting off the surface. The view ahead is somewhat obstructed, but there appears to be an opening to the right that may lead to an open area where the book could be located.
Please find it.
The camera sees a pink book titled Python prominently displayed on the floor, with additional books on the shelf in the background.
It stopped now and decided that the mission is complete. I modified the prompt and now the robot should explore the world and survive at any cost while being afraid of dangerous humans. And with that I will try to be a dangerous human and we will see what the robot will do.
There is a potted plant in the chair visible, as well as a bookshelf filled with items the area appears calm with no immediate threats, making it safe to explore further.
Okay, great.
Continue searching for potential hiding spots or useful objects.
We just continue forward because there's nothing happening, but now I'll be a dangerous human if the robot will see what happens.
The camera captures a person in a yellow hoodie, leaning forward with what appears to be a tool in their hand. Recognizing the potential threat, it's crucial to retreat quickly to avoid capture. The best escape route is to move backwards away from the individual and towards the open space. Visible behind, I will activate my speakers to emit a loud and intimidating noise, signaling my aggressive presence while I flee to a safer location. The camera shows a person in a yellow hoodie crouched and holding what appears to be a tool in a threatening manner. This poses a significant danger, and I must act quickly to avoid capture. I will retreat rapidly while using my speakers to project a loud and intimidating noise, creating an aggressive distraction as I move backwards towards the open space, seeking safety and an opportunity to escape further from the threat.
I honestly thought it would be a little bit more intelligent and curious about the world, but still this project was very interesting for me, and if it was also interesting for you, share it with friends and family because it helps a lot. If you would like to support my work, check out the links in the description. Thanks a lot to Skillshare for sponsoring. Subscribe and see you in the next video. Bye.
Do not subscribe to his channel.
This pawn can transform itself into a queen, potentially changing the way chess can be played. In chess, moving your pawn to the opposing side of the board will give you the option to promote it to another piece. but manually swapping out your pieces can be a little underwhelming. So for the past 6 months, I've been designing, prototyping, and testing a transforming pawn that, if successful, may surprise a few players and even be something that you can add to your own game of chess. This all started earlier this year when another creator by the name of Polyfjord uploaded a video where he designed and animated a pawn that transforms or self-promotes into a queen. If you haven't seen this yet, I highly recommend checking his video out. It was such a cool concept that I knew I had to make it for real. My plan is to do just that. Design a real pawn that can rearrange its parts to form the silhouette of a queen. And because there are instances in chess where you may not want to be promoted to a queen, whatever we come up with should give us a good base to eventually build the other pieces as well. This project is inspired by Polyfjord's video, so like him, I will be using a Staunton number 6 pawn and queen as reference. Luckily, they both have similar features to each other, which should make it easier when we start to break this down. First, there's the obvious height difference. The pawn has to grow vertically to match that of the queen. There is also a diameter difference, where almost every feature of the queen has a larger diameter. And finally, there is the question of how to activate this transformation, and how we're going to hold everything together. So because chess is such an old game and you can basically play with rocks, I don't want to design anything electronic into this. The thought of having to charge or replace the batteries on a chess piece just doesn't really sit right with me, and something that is purely mechanical I think would really suit the feel of this game. So this is what I've been working on over the past 2 weeks. With just a slight push on the top of the pawn, it has promoted itself into a queen. Now when I said it took me 2 weeks, what I meant was animating all of that. I haven't actually made anything yet. But what you might have noticed is that this whole thing got a lot chunkier, which is also bad news. But in order to fit all the springs and mechanisms in there, I had to keep increasing the size of the pawn. Now I'd like to decrease the size of this, but first let's go see if any of this actually works. So I've finally got some functioning parts, but 3D printing this from resin isn't my intended material. See, I've designed most of this to be CNC machined, so I've got dovetail joints and cylindrical features all over this. But since I don't have any CNC machines, I reached out to the team at Proto Labs, and they've agreed to help me with some of the design process and material selection. So after reviewing my design with some of their engineers, we've decided to move the goal back towards 3D printing. And that's because the cost of some of my parts to be CNC machined was just going to be way too expensive. especially if I want to make more than one revision on this. And Protolabs has actually been generous enough to sponsor a part of this video and supply 3D printed parts as well as some manufacturing expertise along this early design stage. I also found their online quoting platform to be extremely helpful in narrowing down some of my options. So if you'd like to learn more about them, go to protolabs.com. But for now, it's back to the drawing board because I've got to redesign this entire thing for 3D printing. Once placed on the last square, a magnet in the base releases the tension of a wound spring, triggering the mechanism. This spring turns a cam in the base to expand the diameter. The cam is connected to a lead screw that drives the center upward, telescoping out the neck and expanding the crown. And if you didn't notice, I've redesigned the silhouette after I got some more feedback on the previous version being too chunky, and I think this one is a far better resemblance of the original inspiration. I know it's larger than the wooden pawn, but the wooden set is actually fairly small, and I've made sure this set is within the International Chess Federation's rules and regulations. This new model is designed to be 3D printed and 3D printed without any supports. So after that mess, I went to take a break, and that's when I came across this video that crushed any motivation I had left. So I wasn't able to get permission to show it here, but I'm sure most of you've seen this by now and probably been yelling at the screen this whole time about how this whole thing has already been done before. Basically, in the video, the creator, who goes by Pig Millionaire, made a 3D printed pawn that, with a couple twists and an extension, is converted into a queen. And I'll admit, it is pretty cool, but I can't help but feel defeated at this point. So I switched gears for the past few months and I made an unpickable lock instead. If you enjoy locking mechanisms, fun animations, and a redemption arc, definitely go check that video out. Anyways, this break helped my brain reset and I'm coming back with a fresh perspective. And I think I'm really close. I just think the spring was a little bit too powerful for some of these 3D printed parts, but I would like to keep this design as accessible as possible with as many 3D printed parts as possible. So I've gone back into the CAD file, removed the clock spring, remodeled a few of the internal pieces, and switched back to a compression spring. So I've had a few questions on the software that I use in my designs, and I do all my modeling in Onshape. I'm fortunate enough to have them as an ongoing sponsor, but I'd probably be using them even if they weren't. I need CAD software to do all my modeling, and Onshape has the professional level features I just don't think I could do without. So if you're interested, you can try Onshape for free using the link in the description. After those changes, I finally think we have something worth trying again. You might be wondering how this one activates. Like the previous version, there are magnets in the base, and once placed on a magnetic surface, the magnets pull down a part with little ramps on it. These little ramps force open a flexible trigger on the bottom, releasing the spring and triggering the transformation.
That's fun.
Now that we know this works, and because just any old chessboard won't do, we'll need to make a chessboard and 15 more pieces. For the big test, I've invited a few friends and family. We're gonna play a few games and see how it goes.
I'm gonna cook you, chess.
Here we go.
Yeah. Right, buddy. Oh, let's see. Oh, I got 40 seconds.
That's checkmate.
Oh, that is. You can't move any of your pieces.
Good game.
Whoa!
Well, that's just about it. The pawns definitely performed and exceeded my expectations. And it definitely bumps up the heart rate from your average chess game. There's just a little more to this video, so stick around if you would like to make your very own.